Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Today we've got a Perfumers portfolio video, and if you can tell by my voice, I am still a little sick. It's been about a week. My body usually just liquidates infection in no time, but whatever this is a resilient little sickness. And so I do talk on the phone all day for work. I know I haven't told you guys exactly what I do, but it's on the telephone all day. And so there's nothing I can do. I can't really rest my vocal cords unless I just take off work. And that's not really my style. I'm more of a push through. And but I didn't make a video in back-to-back days 2 times now. And so I skipped a day, then I made a video, then I skipped a day. And skipping 2 days, especially when we have something new to unbox, just seems blasphemous. So we're going to do a short Perfumers portfolio video on Fabrice Pellegrin. So hopefully it's not going to be an hour of me talking because I don't think my voice can make it actually. But I also can't go without unboxing this. So if we didn't do the video, I was just going to unbox it and you guys wouldn't be able to see it. So I figured, what the hell? Let's do the video. Let's knock it out. And then I'll get some Ricola in me and maybe some tea or something, and hopefully I can start getting over whatever the heck this is, man. It's funny because my wife went to the doctor and she got one of those shots or whatever that's supposed to make you feel better. She still feels like shit. I'm like, see, just don't go to the doctor, you know? What's the point in going to the doctor and paying them money so they can say, yeah, you're sick, you'll get better on your own. All right, so here we go. This is from the house of Abdul Samad Qureshi. Now, interestingly enough, this Abdul Samad al-Qureshi, someone was telling me an interesting backstory on this house. This is Safari Extreme. This is the limited edition, by the way. So it's 90 mils. Someone was telling me that the limited edition is older. And so the new bottles have now been reduced to 75 mils. And I got this 90 mil for well under retail of the 75 mils. So if you can find some old stock, this was produced on May of 2020, it says, and it expires April of 25, But let's open this up, shall we? That if you can find these older stocks, that it'll be a better way to go than the new 75 ml bottles. I don't know. I just know that apparently this fragrance is badass. That's what I hear. It's a blind buy. So let's open it up and let me show you the bottle. The bottle's actually really pretty. It's a nice little bottle. They did well. Look at this. Beautiful cap. Look at that. Beautiful cap. There's the Abdul Samad al-Qureshi, ASQ, I guess is how many people abbreviate it. That's the little logo for it. Excuse me. And I reviewed did an early impression on one of their fragrances recently. And I liked it. I thought the quality was very good. And so because of that, I decided, you know what? I got a good price on this. I'm going to go ahead and add it to the collection. It's a fragrance I've been watching for a long, long time. If you guys know, is there any difference between the limited edition bottles and the ones that don't say limited edition? Or is it just this one you get 90 mils in a different bottle and it's the same fragrance? Or is there rumor of, you know, differences in the juice? Let me know in the comments, because I'm not this type of Middle Eastern perfumery. It's not my specialty. Most of what I wore is Amouage, and that's it. Many of these other Middle Eastern houses like ASQ, I pretty much just ignored. But I hear great things about this. So basically, what it is a How would this be described? It says there's bergamot, French orange blossom, mandarin orange, and mango. with jasmine, rose, cedar wood, and orange blossom with oud, musk, vanilla, amber, and sandalwood. So is it a predominantly like oriental, ambery oriental? Is it predominantly oud? How would you guys describe this? I don't want to spray it yet because I'm wearing something else, but I will wear this as my scent of the day very soon. Abdul Samad Al-Qareshi Safari Extreme. And then what I was going to say story-wise, my videos can never be short. But what I was going to say story-wise is there's some pretty shoddy glass work here. Let me show you guys this. Maybe I'm losing my mind. Huh, interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that before. It just looks like some of the bubbles are getting stuck to the glass for some reason. It looked like it was shoddy glass work, but I think it's bubbles. So what I heard was that this name right here, this Qareshi, they were apparently this is hearsay, but from a reliable source. So rumor is that this Qareshi tribe is one of the many tribes in Saudi Arabia that settled in different, areas of the country. And the Qareshi tribe is one of the, oldest that apparently dates back to the Prophet Muhammad. And the Qareshi tribe settled around Mecca. And I hear that there's lots of Abdul Samad Al-Qareshi stores in Saudi Arabia, that they're everywhere, like 7-Elevens in the United States. Is that true? That would be very interesting if that's true. That just shows how different, their perfume culture is versus ours. Could you imagine having Tom Ford boutiques all over, like 7-Elevens? That would be nuts, but I'm very happy to have this, and I got it at a very good price, and it got shipped from the Middle East for free, which I know shipping is expensive now, and it came in 2 days, just amazing. So, Safari Extreme. Okay, so let's set that aside. The Ram will revisit that later. There's an old joke, Ram loves sheep, because I love my sheepers. You guys know that. Now it's Ram is horse. I am just, the hoarseness will not go away. So I do apologize. If you're new to the channel, I promise my voice does not sound like this most of the time. But like I said, I can't really take care of the vocal cords because I'm talking all day anyway. So it is what it is. So I figured might as well do the damn video. Let me turn the light on and then we'll get started. So this video is going to be on Fabrice Pellegrin and just a little bit about him. So he is a French-born perfumer. Surprise, surprise. And interestingly enough, he's a multi-generational perfumer. His father was a perfumer. And so he started his fragrance career as an apprentice to his father. And I believe his father was, what was his father's first name? I thought I knew, but it's not coming to me. Let me see if I just search Pellegrin in the directories if it comes up. No, I was thinking of Roger Pellegrino. I think that's completely different. I don't know who his dad was. But apparently this guy, Fabrice Pellegrin, worked for many of the big names. He started out in Robertet, then he went to Maine, which are two of the bigger oil houses. And now, finally, I believe he's with Firmenich. And excuse me, there might be a little bit of that in this video. In 2017, he was named Perfumer of the Year by Cosmetique Mag and honored with the French Trades magazine's annual Oscar Award. The award pays tribute to his outstanding creativity behind the success of numerous distinctive signature fragrances, including most recently Azzaro's Wanted, which I'm not the biggest fan of. Fabrice's signature is also marketed by his mastery of natural ingredients and passion for Grace's perfumery heritage. Okay, so he started his career with Robertet, followed by Maine, during which time he created iconic fragrances for Mugler, Diptyque, L'Occitane, Hermes. He joined Firmenich in 2008, so he's been with Firmenich for a while, where his success story continued, working with prestigious groups like L'Oreal, Clarins, Coty, and Puig. Distinctive signature is also central to the success of a number of exclusive niche brands like Armani Privé, Kilian, Joe Malone niche, Courage, Reminiscence, L'Artisan Parfumé, and Dear Rose. Okay, so that's a little bio in Fragrantica. So let's talk about a couple of the fragrances in my collection that he created. So let's start back in 2010. And I'm going to grab a sip of water before we get started because I can already see this going downhill. Excuse me. Okay. So, in 2010, he created this little bad boy. And this is called Eau Duelle. Now, Eau Duelle, interestingly enough, you'll see the Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal is a story behind another amazing vintage fragrance called Shalimar. This is the old Coke bottle of excuse me, style of Shalimar. And I'm going to throw this lozenge in so I don't keep coughing in your ear, hopefully. All right, lozenge, we believe in you. Give us hope. Okay. So it's very interesting that they chose the Taj Mahal, excuse me, for a vanilla scent. For a vanilla scent. I'm going to do this damn video. I don't care if I have to push through. I'm doing this video. And this scent is actually a little bit of a brilliant feat. Some people say it's boring. I don't think it's boring. And I think it's a good vanilla, although the problem that this scent has, okay, is that the bar for vanilla is set so high by Guerlain that in order to match it, you really have to be like, you know, going out of your mind as a fragrance house. What's normal for Guerlain with vanilla is heights that other fragrance companies just cannot reach, in my personal opinion. Guerlain is the gold standard of vanilla, period. End of story. I won't hear any arguments. Court has been held. That's it. We're recessed. There's no arguments about any other house doing vanilla better than Guerlain. However, if you're a vanilla lover, this fragrance is actually really worth looking into. My initial understanding of Eau Duelle is that it was literally a duel between two opposing forces, vanilla and incense. Now, what he used to create that spicy incense-like accord that duels with the vanilla is cypriol and a bit of pink pepper and calamus, okay? And there's probably some frankincense in there that's not even listed. But this is the Eau de Toilette. And if I ever get the itch to wear, you know, a little bit of a fresher vanilla, it's not too heavy. It is sweet. It is mass appealing. This is one of those fragrances that other people do like on me. So if I wear this to work, for example, I'm bound to get noticed, although I don't care about compliments or anything like that. Excuse me. It's just the way it is. Other people like this scent. They actually like it more than I do. I find it a little bit boring. It's a little boring at times. And other times, you know, you're like, wow, something so simple can be so beautiful. You know, how can, excuse me, you know, how can something with basically two ingredients be so beautiful? And that's the case with Eau Duelle. So, yes, if you've never smelled Eau Duelle, I would put it on the list. The Eau de Toilette is, if you've never seen Diptyque's, you know, packaging, the Eau de Toilette has a white face like this, and the Eau de Parfums have black stickers on the front. So that's one easy way to tell whether it's an Eau de Toilette or an Eau de Parfum. Hope you guys don't mind the coughing. because it would be very easy to just quit this video, but I am not a quitter. And once I get my mind at doing something, I'm pretty stubborn about doing it. And so this video is going to happen today. So please forgive the coughing. Next for Diptyque, in a couple years later, by the way, so Volutes, the EDT, and the EDP both came out in the same year, in 2012. This fragrance I'm sorry, I take that back. The EDT of Eau Duelle came out in 2010, and when they realized it became successful, they then had him release an eau de parfum in 2013. With this fragrance, both of them came out together. They probably realized, hey, we wanted an EDT, or we wanted an eau de parfum version of the fragrance immediately because they saw the success of, some of his previous work. And so with this one, they asked him instantly to do an eau de parfum and an eau de toilette. This is the eau de toilette, which I believe is still available to be purchased. And it's called Volutes. Now, if you like your fragrances to be heavier, if you like your fragrances to carry a little bit more weight to them, buy the eau de parfum of this. This is a little bit light in eau de toilette, but there's another fragrance that I crave in the winter to wear that has this DNA that I think this is really based on. So to me, if Eau Duelle is based on Shalimar, and if you look at the Taj Mahal on the back, it's very easy to say that it is, then this is based on Chergui. Volutes is a Chergui interpretation. And it's a beautiful one. I think Chergui inspired Volutes, in my opinion. And there's this beautiful honeyed, resinous, like sweet myrrh with cinnamon and a lovely iris note, okay? And a slight hit of this hay-like dry, almost like straw tobacco. Beautiful. You could almost be tricked into thinking there's Immortelle thrown in here, because it has that, Immortelle always gives off this golden hue. This, Immortelle can be known as the curry plant. It can sometimes give off this spicy curry-like vibe. But many a times I get this fall-like feeling, like I'm looking out the window out of my second floor office right now, and I can see the grass, and it's just all brown, because it's winter. It's almost December. And the grass is completely brown, and that's kind of the feeling that Immortelle gives me. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a hit of Immortelle, just a slight, even though it's not listed. But that iris, imagine you take this Chergui DNA, and you just add just a little bit of creamy, powdery, not makeup-y though, but just elegant, powdery, this elegant, powdery, slight, like you're sprinkling it on top, like just all it needed was an extra sprinkle. The fragrance was perfect, just an extra sprinkle. And usually what I'll do, because Texas weather is OCD, one day it can be 80, the next it can be 20, just how it is in Texas, sometimes even in the same day. And I will wear this when we get those random 70, 80 degree days in December, January, February, which we're, it's coming. There is no getting around it. That's what happens when you live in Texas. There will be a week straight where the weather is kissing freezing, and then the next week it'll be 75 degrees and sunny. For those days, this is absolutely beautiful. When there's a little bit of warmth, it doesn't perform as well in the cold. I'd rather personally wear Chergui, and since I have a full bottle of Chergui, that's probably what I'd reach for in the cold. But if you like that DNA, all right, that spicy cinnamon warmth with that little bit of twist of tobacco and this honey-like resinous Apopanax. This is beautiful. This is a fantastic fragrance, and as soon as I smelled these two, I knew I needed bottles. I mean, I knew from the very beginning that Fabrice Pellegrin is an amazing perfumer, and he did some great work for Diptyque. But those are the only two that I have from him for Diptyque. Next is 2014. So we went 2010 with Volutes. Sorry, Eau Duelle. We went 2012 with Volutes. And now we're going to go 2014. And 2014 is a Salvatore Ferragamo, and it's Testa di Moro. Now, Testa di Moro, I believe, this fragrance is also known as Incense Suede. If I'm not mistaken. I think Incense Suede and Testa di Moro are the same perfume. I also think that this is pretty hard to find sometimes. So I think you can find it on eBay right now, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure what Salvatore Ferragamo is doing with these line. What I will tell you is this. To me, I overpaid for this fragrance because I just wanted it and I couldn't find it anywhere. And when I found it, I paid a lot for it. Don't pay over $100 for this. It's good. It has this smoky, woody frankincense with some dried fruits and this leather-like accord that really comes across as smelling like suede. And if you know me and my leather tastes, I much prefer my leathers to be much more intense and butch and just in your face, harsh, animalic leathers, okay? I'd take Tuscan leather all day over this. But that being said, I'm glad I have it because it is hard to come by. The dry down has this waxy styrax that tends to come to the forefront with this sandalwood, which is not bad. I mean, it's, but this is another one that comes across a little bit light. Very similar to Volutes in that they don't smell the same, but they wear the same. They both wear very light on me. And their fragrances, you would think, are usually cooler weather fragrances. But again, if I ever wanted a leather in the summer, this would be a perfect reach. Warm weather, because this really doesn't project. Now, maybe once I get more air into the bottle, it will. But I found something that came out in 2014 the other day, thanks to a good friend of the channel. He's a mystery to you guys, but he's a dear friend of the channel, trust me. He's done so much. Many of the little random packages you see arrive or, that have gotten hauled across the ocean and when they got stuck in England and stuff like that have come from his goodwill. He sent me a sample of this. And I never smelled it before. And I smelled it and I went, oh man, this is like a much better version of Salvatore Ferragamo's Testa di Moro. And he had never smelled it, but that's the first thing that popped in my head when I smelled it. And I still think I want a bottle of this because I think this is what Testa di Moro should have been. This is from the house of Orto Parisi, and it's called Sturkis. Now, interestingly enough, Sturkis is also a 2014 release. I didn't know that when I made the connection. But sometimes you'll smell something and just base maybe the aroma, the molecules, and I'm sure fragrance houses, these oil houses, these perfume houses, whatever you want to call places like Firmenich and Maine and, the big boys, IFF. I'm sure that they have new stuff, new captive molecules they're constantly kind of putting out here and there. I'm not saying they're the same. I'm not saying I have that good of a nose that I can pick up, if perfumers are using the same captive molecules. But from the fact that it was the same year, and I instantly thought of it, just an interesting little tidbit. So you will see a full bottle of some Orto Parisis. I actually already got one. but I moved it. I don't know where I put it, but I got the leather one. And so you're going to see more Orto Parisis in my collection. It's a house that I'm interested in diving deeper into. I also want to try to finish out the Amouage Opus collection that's missing because I got the new silver oud in the new packaging, and I wasn't as, again, it might just be a situation where it needs air in the bottle, but I was nowhere near as excited about it as I was when I got the decant from the 50 ml bottle. So I'm trying to buy some of the older Opus bottles before they're completely gone, because Amouage is putting them into new packaging. So I have some priorities, but Orto Parisi is a house you will see more of, and Diptyque is one that I want a full bottle of, absolutely, for sure. I think it does what Testa di Moro is trying to do better. And the oud, there's a little bit of oud here. There's no oud in Testa di Moro. It makes it more interesting because it's a little bit more animalic, and I like that. I like the challenge. So Diptyque is just a side note to Testa di Moro. which Fabrice Pellegrin put out in 2014. Okay, 2015, he put out this little bad boy. And I have to say, as far as Western ouds, this is probably one of the best realistic Western oud fragrances that money can buy. It's called Diptyque Oud Palao. Actually, I said there was no more Diptyques. I lied. I have a 10 ml decant of a Fabrice Pellegrin, and you can see I've given it a good wear. I put a good dent in it, and I really do like this. Now, granted, is it a rose oud? Yes. Is it just a rose oud? No, it's not. There's actually a lot more going on in here. The patchouli in this is beautiful. There's almost like this, there is a cypriol note. Nagamata is in here, which I think goes fantastic with oud. Anytime you're trying to create an oud accord and you're using Western oud, you're not using, you're not using, if you are using the real deal, let's say you're using a smaller amount, 1% or less of the concentration. Like, for example, Russian Adam's new creation for Amouage L'Adoré, Beauty and the Beast, is 30% real oud oil. That's the highest number he's ever used. Usually, houses aren't using anywhere near those kind of numbers. But, you know, for a house like Diptyque that you can buy Oud Palao 100 ml for like $100 at discounters, this is fantastic stuff. I mean, unless you're going to go out and spend the big money on the Bortnikovs and Amouage L'Adorés and stuff like that, and Soir ouds, you're not going to find much better oud fragrances than Oud Palao. And before this 10 ml is gone, I will do a full review on the channel. And the other thing about this fragrance that really gets me is this sticky labdanum-like dry down. I think there's Spanish cistus labdanum in this as well, and incense. And so when you mix in the incense with the Laotian oud and the Bulgarian rose and the Burman vanilla and the Indonesian patchouli and the Nagamata and all this stuff, it creates a beautiful aura. People are always interested in what I'm wearing when I wear this, which is fine by me. I always tell them, and they're like, huh? Never heard of it. I'm like, well, of course not, but it's a good starter's oud. It ranked very high. This is not a top 10 Western oud video, and this ranked very high on the list. So this is Diptyque Oud Palao by Fabrice Pellegrin 2015. Now, excuse me, 2015 was a good year for him. He put out one of my favorite fragrances of all time. To be fair, he did it with another one of my favorite perfumers, Pierre Negrin. And in tandem, they released this for Amouage, and I am in love with this scent. And I do think that this fragrance is the reason I never bought Eau Noire by Dior. I find there's a link between the two. They both have lavender. They both have immortelle. Okay? Those are two big important notes. And they both have this food-like effect on me. You know, Eau Noire has this kitchen curry spice thing going on. And this has this orange brandy. This is Sunshine Man by Amouage. I'm in love with this fragrance, man. I'm telling you. I need to wear it soon. It's been a while. But, fuck. There is a little bit of sweetness, but it's done so perfectly. It's so perfectly balanced. The sweetness comes from the tonka and the vanilla. Oh, man. What a fragrance this is, though. I think this is my favorite Immortelle fragrance of all time. And again, it's not the most complex creation, but it's so unique. This is a perfect representation of what Christopher Chong's reign at Amouage stood for. Uniqueness, taking chances, releasing something that is different and away from what everyone else is doing. That's what a niche house should be doing. To be fair, you could say that Francis Kirkjohn set the stage with, by the way, speaking of Francis Kirkjohn, I didn't even tell you my scent of the day. My scent of the day is Absolute pour le Soir by Maison Francis Kirkjohn. A discontinued, hard to find MFK fragrance. And this stuff has grown on me. This is the kind of stuff I want to wear in November, December. It's ambery, it's honey-like, it's got this cumin, challenging cumin. Some people say it smells like piss. I don't, but the challenging part to me is how synthetic it smells in the opening. Especially in the opening, there's this plasticky, synthetic sweetness that just hits you. It's almost like Francis Kirkjohn wants you to know it's synthetic. He wants you to know this smells like nothing on earth, This doesn't smell like honey, roses, sandalwood. No, this smells like the synthetic, jumbled, some people might say a mess. But I've come to appreciate it. I've come to like it. I'm glad I have a bottle. Excuse me. It's very hard to find nowadays. I would say don't pay over $300 for this. If you can find it for $300 or less, it's worth it. But this is way better than Grand Soir. Is it better than Ciel de Gaume? That I don't know. Ciel de Gaume may be better than this. That is a very, very good perfume. But as far as his best ambers for me, it would be Ciel de Gaume and Absolute pour le Soir. Because this is kind of an amber. There's this benzoin, resinous, honeyed-like ambery feeling. And it lasts forever, man. The molecules he uses, I have never met a more tenacious niche brand than MFK. Like his Oud, the EDP, that stuff lasts days on my skin. I have to be careful. If it touches anything other than skin, it's there for weeks. And so I don't know what he's using, but there is some crazy molecules in some of his stuff. The Oud Eau de Parfum and Absolute pour le Soir have some serious longevity. I mean, I sprayed this 9 hours and 45 minutes ago, and I can smell it clear as day. And that's with a little bit of a cold. So, if you can find this and you like the challenging ambers, check out Absolute pour le Soir. All right, let me put this away. Can't believe I forgot to show you guys that. See, I'm off my game today. I'm just ready for this cold to go away. Okay, so we were talking about Sunshine Man and how Dior's Eau Noire deserves some points for being first, but I think this does it better to me. I think this does what Eau Noire is trying to do better. And so because of that, I don't think I'll search out a bottle of Eau Noire. I think I'll just continue to wear my Sunshine Man. Look at the dent I put in it. I mean, I love this stuff. I absolutely love it. And this is another one that I think deserves much more love than it gets. It does get some love in the community because it's an Amouage and stuff like that, but I think this is Fabrice Pellegrin's best, in my opinion. So, Sunshine Man by Amouage. A duo with Pellegrin from 2015. And then, in 2016, we have two fragrances. Again, two amazing fragrances. Interestingly enough, they're both fougeres. See how you can kind of make these weird connections sometimes? How I connected Stirred Kiss with Testa di Moro from the same year. And now both of Fabrice Pellegrin's creations from 2016 are both fougeres. And they're actually, now that I'm thinking about it, they're two of my favorite modern fougeres. Many of my favorite fougeres are old. You know, the old style, if you will. Gucci Nobiles and stuff like that from the good old days. He created two modern fougeres that are just stunning. I mean, I would hold these up as two perfect examples of a modern fougere. So the first is, we'll stick with Amouage. This is Bracken Man. And Bracken Man, to some people, is challenging. And the reason it's challenging to some people, you can see the fern on the front. The reason it's challenging to some people is because it has this gigantic, enormous, in-your-face, unapologetic clove note that just, from the get-go, just clove. I mean, you know, if you do not like clove, this might be one to sample first. However, I would urge you to stick with it, especially if you're a fan of that fougere DNA, because it's sweetened up with a little bit of patchouli, and you know, patchouli adds this heftiness to it in the base, right? But other than that, and the addition of cypress, this is an out-and-out perfect classic fougere. Classic fougere. It takes balls to put something like this out with a nod to the past, but a little bit of Amouage's own twist with this clove. And the other secret ingredient is cypress. There's a cypress note in here. And if you've smelled cypress, you'll pick it up. I mean, it's pretty prominent. But it's so classic with that provincial lavender and geranium, and, you know, it's just straight up and down a classic fougere. So well done. Not enough people talk about this. I mean, it's so professional. This is a great office scent. It lasts forever. It's high quality ingredients. I mean, everything you expect from Amouage. It doesn't get the love that other Amouages get because it is a true spicy, woody, traditional fougere, but Bracken Man is a stunner. And then in the same year, he released this fougere, which is 20% of the price of Bracken Man, maybe even less, maybe 15% of the price, depending on how discounted you can find this. Value for money is through the roof for this scent for me. This is 2016, and this is called L'Insoumis by the house of Lalique, who does they do not put out bad fragrances. I'm telling you. They have one fragrance that I'm looking for. Can't find it. It's called Ombre Noir, and it's discontinued, I believe. But can't find it. I mean, it's nowhere. It's a ghost. And I don't want to, if I do find it, I don't want to pay huge money, of course. But I'm looking for it, and it's gone. But I'd love a bottle of that one day too. But basically what L'Insoumis is it is again this very traditional like DNA, straight up and down fougere with the addition of basil. So it's a little more green at the top. And there's this note of rum, which it's very very common for these houses when they want to make something seem like more modern. You know, like if they do flankers of Azzaro Porom or some of these vintage masculines, what do? Instantly, they add booze to it, right? That's like that's just like the thing to do. Oh, you want to make something modern and contemporary? Add a little bit of rum to it. Add a little bit of whiskey to it. You know, it's so easy, and put it out as a flanker, right? And so I think many people wrote this off because they were like, you know, this is just a fougere with rum. But it's not just a fougere with rum. I think this is an amazing fougere. I've smelled a lot of fougeres in my day, and I think this is a great take on it. There's a touch of sweetness that'll come along with it. There's this note that's used here, which is a Firmenich in fragrance ingredient called clearwood. And clearwood's supposed to have this soft yet clean and woody like profile. So imagine you're smelling natural patchouli oil without the earthy, leathery aspects that you get from real patchouli. And that's what clearwood is kind of supposed to do here. And it really does add to the base, because remember I told you there's a big dose of patchouli in the base of Bracken Man. There's also patchouli here, but it's softened with this clearwood accord. Very interesting fragrance. A little bit of vetiver in the base, a little bit of pepper in the mid, so it is a little bit peppery, but what a fragrance to me. I mean, and value for money is through the roof. I mean, you would have to spend tons of money to find a fougere like this from the old days now. You know, if you wanted a vintage bottle, good luck. You know, good luck hunting down some of those famous fougeres from the past. So L'Insoumis is, if you're looking for something more modern, put this on the radar. And then there was one other fragrance I have a sample of from him, and that's it. We're done. And it's from the house of Issey Miyake. And it's called La Majeure de Issey. Never smelled this yet. I'm 100% expecting it to be shite. I mean, look, the back looks like water. Anytime, I mean, I'm sure these houses would love to sell water in a bottle and charge $100. That's probably their dream. But either way, Fabrice Pellegrin made this with Aurélien Guichard, who I've learned I hate his work. I'm not a fan of his work at all. He made Eros, which is shite. He made Falcon Leather, which I hate. I smelled that Oud 7 or whatever it was from that same Majeure Premier brand and hated it. I thought it was shit. I thought it smelled like a Latafa. And so the only thing this Aurélien Guichard guy has made that I'm a fan of is This Is Him by Zadig and Voltaires, but that smells more like the work of the woman he was working with, not him. It smells like a Nathalie Lorson. It has her DNA in it, to me. And so I don't have high hopes for La Majeure de Issey, but you know what? I'll do an early impression on it. I have the sample, so it's just a matter of my nose getting better. I don't trust it yet to do early impression videos like this where there's only a little bit of juice for me to use yet, but hopefully I will. So I'm going to shut up because I do want my voice to come back at some point. Thank you for putting up with the coughing, sucking on the lozenge, and I'm glad we were able to do the video. I did want to show off my new Safari Extreme. I have a ton of stuff coming. I ordered a ton of fragrances. Christmas presents for the Ram. But let me know if there's a difference between the limited edition version, if it's the same juice. I'm thinking it's the same juice. But, yes, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what your favorite Fabrice Pellegrin fragrances are. And I'll see you again tomorrow, hopefully. Cheers, guys. Bye now.